Alright everybody, let's start going over your formative assignment answers. So question 1, it asks what is domain and range? Domain is all possible x values, also can be called the input, and the range is all possible y values, also known as the output. For question number 2, it asks for a table, which would look like this: -2, 4, 1, 0, 3, -1, and -4, 4. It asks for a mapping diagram, which would look like this: 2, 1, 3, -4, 4, 0, -1. And then -2 would point to 4, 1 would point to 0, 3 would point to -1, and -4 would point to 4. And lastly, it asks for a graph, which would have points -2, 4 on it, 1, 0, 3, -1, as well as -4, 4. There it is. That's everything. And in case you were wondering, yes, it is a function. It is the vertical line test. Each domain just has to have one range, but they can share a range, so it's cool. That's a function. For number 2, let's start with the XY table first. -3, 4, 2, 0, 0, -2, -3, 3. Next, mapping diagram. -3, 2, 0, and let's do 4, 0, -2, 3. So -3 goes to both 4 and 3. 2 goes to 0, and 0 goes to -2. And for the graph, we're just going to graph the points. 1, 2, 3, 4, -3, 4, 2, 0, 0, -2, and -3, 3. Just for extra, this one is not a function. The vertical line test, that domain -3 has two ranges, both 4 and 3. Alright, let's check out an XY table for this relation. I have 2, 4, 1, 4, 3, 4, -4, 4. You might notice all of our range, we just have a range of 4. Let's look at the mapping diagram. So we have all these different domains and only one range. So we would just make an arrows all to that 4. And guys, by this, each domain does have a range 4. This is a function. It is. So if I had domains with several functions, then it isn't. But each domain does have a function. And let's check out, make sure it passed the vertical line test on our graph if we graph it too. So -2, 1, 2, 3, -2, 4, 1, 4, 3, 4, -4, 4. So a vertical line only goes through one point. That's another justification that it is a function. Okay, for number 5, it just gives us these points, and it asks for the domain and range. So we would use the brackets, and our domain is -2, 1, 5. It's all the x values, and then the possible y values for the range are just 3 and 4. We don't have to write that 4 twice. That would be it. You could, if you wanted to, you could also write it as a mapping. I would accept that. 1, -2, 5, 3, 4. And if you did it like that, it'd look like this. I would take either one of those. So for this, it gives us an input and an output. My domain would be my 2, 3, 4 from my input, and my range would be a 20, 30, 40 from my output. Now, if we wanted to answer whether this is a function or not, it is not a function. And the reason it is not a function is domain 2 has two ranges. Now this domain 4 going to the same as 2, that doesn't change it. It's all because of that 2 having two ranges. Alright, for this domain and range, we're going to have to use those inequalities. And so left to right, looks like the furthest right I go is 2, and actually I need to change this from a less than or equal to. It doesn't quite go to 2. It has to be less than 2. See how that's open? It has to be less than 2. And then the furthest left right here is -4. So it has to be, it can be -4 though, it's solid there. So it can be negative 4. Now on the y, the lowest it goes, and I need to change that. It isn't or equal to. The lowest it goes to is negative 5, and the highest it goes to up here is 5. But it can be that 5. Let me see. Let me double check by clicking that picture again, because it's open. So since it is open, that actually needs to change to that 5. It has to be less than 5. All right, because they're open, it doesn't work. Cool. All right, last one with domain and range. Domain is all possible x values. I got a negative 3, negative 2, 1, 2, and 5. And an intermediate step you would maybe like to do is write my ordered pairs for all those. Negative 2, 0, 1, 4, 5, 1, 2, negative 5. Sometimes that's easier, then you can just pluck off the x values. It's up to you. The range, all possible y values. It's going to be negative 5, 0, 1, and 4. And that comes from all those ordered pairs. And remember, I'm cool. If you wanted to, I'm cool with you writing those as a mapping diagram if you wanted. Did I miss one? Negative 5, 0, 1, 4. Nope, 2 of them go to 1. So negative 3 goes to 1. Negative 2 goes to 0. 1 goes to 4. 2 goes to negative 5. And 5 goes to 1. That's another way you could do it. I would take either way. This one's probably the simplest way, but maybe you're really vibing. I like the visual of the mapping diagram. That's everything, guys. So if something's wrong, make sure you go back and fix it in the formative. Get that credit. Thanks for watching, guys. Miss y'all.